All right, guys, welcome to Stock Talk on August 2nd. And what a day that you guys saw in the markets. What a complete 180-degree turnaround. And guys, I posted this on Facebook. I gave you guys a warning or a signal that I said that SPY support was at 279.04. We slightly broke under it, but you guys should have noticed that we bounced off of this, and then we managed to steadily go higher, breaking every single resistance out there, at the very least in the near-term resistances. That is certainly a positive sign for the markets. So let's get started. Welcome to Stock Talk. You're looking at SPY, which is the S&P 500. On the one-day intraday chart, you guys can see that we pretty much just consistently broke every single resistance. Here was the first resistance that was broken. You guys can see that we did come down, but we managed to progress higher. And you guys can see that other resistances, which were really not that high, you guys can see that this resistance broke it, this resistance at 282.11, and broke that one. So we have to look at why, first of all, we did that. And I showed you guys that this was the support area. This was the previous highs on previous candles, which should act as a support. And in fact, we zapped right up and we got ourselves above the the breakdown candle of 281.59. Note that if we closed above that 281.59 level, the market is bullish, and the market has completely flipped into a bullish state, and therefore that is the state of mind that we have to be in given the market's trajectory. So you guys can see that this long green candle shows a what? Okay, it shows that a move towards the 283.89 is very possible, and this is the near-term resistance. Very possible, and certainly possible that we could break this resistance. It doesn't have to do it all in one day tomorrow. It could take a couple of days, but look for higher prices to come. Now, you guys can see that we did consolidate here for pretty much 4 days. Finally, we have a green candle. Doesn't mean that we can like come down probably a little bit, but there's certainly that potential is there to hit and cross this resistance area. So be on the lookout for that. Remember, our all-time high is 286.63. Once we break this blue line resistance, actively closing daily above that level, 286.63 is the all-time resistance, and therefore once we get near that level, or possibly even get higher than that level, there's no more areas where it could act as a resistance at that point. Doesn't mean that the the charts are going to fly off the charts, no pun intended, but the candles will certainly start trending higher, and that since we don't have a boundary, there will certainly be higher prices to come, perhaps even $300 or more on the spider. So let's take a look at volatility. Now for volatility, I want to show you guys that on the 180-day chart, you guys can see that we've made a double peak. Can you guys see this double peak right here? And then another thing you want to keep notice is on the 1 year 1 day chart, take a look at this. Can you guys see how the light blue line, we're getting rejected at the 20 EMA, rejection at the 20 EMA? What does that mean? That just certainly means that we're back at the support area, near this support, but remember that even though we're at the support, this support could easily break as SPY, or if and when SPY breaks that resistance area as we talked on the graph. Now, I want to point you guys to Tesla. Now, look at this, guys. All right, I have to give you guys a notice on Tesla right now, because Tesla was one in which we were looking for a breakout signal, and because it's been consolidating for quite a long time. Can you guys see these bull flag pattern, false breakout here, but upon earnings we managed. You guys can see that Tesla's earnings didn't actually meet its numbers, but its revenue increased, and therefore you guys can see this massive pop. Now remember, I'm still looking for a breakout pattern on Tesla. It could certainly test this support area at 321 if it wanted to. But if it does break out and actively closes on a weekly basis, certainly above 362, that is a number that I am looking for, and that would be a pretty decent entry into Tesla should it start breaking out like that. And this was a very positive move. This almost takes the bull flag pattern out of the table, and you guys can see a higher high, higher low pattern that's forming on Tesla, looking really good. Square. Nothing wrong with this picture on Square, guys. You know, this is massive reversal back to the upside, and you guys can see that this one shows higher prices to come as well. Today's movement has put a serious drench on volatility, and all of a sudden we are all flying off. You guys can see, look at guys, PAYC. Yesterday it went up what, like 10-15%. Today it went up another 7%. These are you know, stocks that could be taken advantage of given the market is moving higher and higher. Doesn't mean that's going to move higher tomorrow, but certainly these are good quality stocks. We identified PAYC a long time ago, right guys? Quite a long time ago. All right, /CL crude oil futures. Guys, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about more about that because you guys have heard every day. So /CL crude oil futures. Crude oil saw a bounce with the markets today, as we kind of expected, and you guys can see this bounce on the one day 1 minute chart. Now here's the thing about this chart, right? I'll show you guys the 1 year chart again, and you guys can see that we landed pretty much at the 20 EMA line and that we broke down over here. Have we recovered all the way back up? We haven't yet, but there is a chance. I'm not saying that it could, but there is a chance that we could get rejected, possibly go down a little. It doesn't have to go under $67 at that point. It could get rejected and come down just a tad bit more before it starts going up. This is forming, you know, we saw that bear flag forming, but all of a sudden we did see a recovery today. So that is actually certainly very interesting because we never hit the 66.31 mark, which I was looking for an entry into crude oil at that point. So we'll see what happens in the next few days, but certainly if it starts actively closing, especially over the 70.47 mark at that area and possibly retest the resistance, actively closing there, that could be a good entry into crude oil. /NG natural gas futures. Guys, do you guys see all of these reversal signals that is going on? And natural gas, it was coming down, and all of a sudden, look at this reversal signal. Natural gas all of a sudden looks like a buy. This is pretty much negates all of these red candles, and now it continues to be on an uptrend, and therefore natural gas, all right, so be it. You know, natural gas looks bullish, therefore we have to look at natural gas once again as a potential buy. So okay, all right guys, hold on. You guys might be like, Kevin, aren't you just reporting what's happened in the past? Like, isn't it too late for me to trade this stock or ETF? But you have to think about this, right? When it's going down, are you actually going to be going into an ETF or stock? And certainly the answer would be no. But when you see that reversal signal, possibly, you know, we're evaluating it after the trading day has closed, but if you see that reversal signal, you have to take that into account in such that there's always a risk involved, but the potential for profit in that case is there all of a sudden. Certainly at this point, if you take a DGAZ or inverse natural gas play, you know, you're playing against the trend. So I'm not only talking about specific trends, I'm also talking about specific areas where we see a higher low pattern, we see a higher high pattern, and that is a pattern that we want to go into, right? You guys can see that we dipped below, we found support, and then all of a sudden we managed to recover. So therefore we have to be pro natural gas. /GC, gold futures. Now gold is in trouble. That's all that there is. Gold is in a lot of trouble. We consolidated for quite a long time, and now that energy is being released to the downside. And even though this is a support, this support at 1210 certainly does not have to hold. And now we see this being reflected into JNUG or JNUG, which follows gold. Note how JNUG is now below $12 at $11.75 with really no end in sight in terms of it dropping. And therefore, gold is one that we want to avoid at all costs, even after /GC hits the support area. Let's take a look at your tickers. Okay, so Scott, thank you for your Facebook ticker. Let's take a look at CRSP. So you're saying that this one keeps getting hit with news. We've looked at this pattern in the past, right? This is a therapeutics company. We expect volatility with this company. The only thing about this company is we've been maintaining a 50-period moving average for the most part, the blue line here, until we collapse. And all of a sudden, now we're at the 150-period moving average. Could you play this position right now? You could if you wanted to, but you have to set a stop loss on this one, right? Because you guys can imagine that, yes, there's a potential for it to at the very least rebound, right? And it really depends on how we can, if it does get to the 20 EMA, how it crosses the 20 EMA. If it does that, if it crosses it, then there's a potential for it to go higher, even higher than that. But right now you could play that, but you have to be cautious that, in such that we consolidated for so long, right? And all of a sudden, we're coming down, and we're coming down rather rapidly. So you can imagine that there could be another leg down, and therefore, gotta be careful. Okay, so let's take a look at your comments on YouTube, followed by first person Rizwan. Okay, so Rizwan, let's take a look at BABA. You're going to be holding it till December of this year. December of this year. So Alibaba looks the one thing is we made a tail candle today, but it still went down. That's the problem. You guys can see how we gapped down, we pulled higher, we made a reversal candle, but we broke the higher low trend, higher low trend line. You guys can see that? And I just don't want to visit something that's broken a trend line. Yes, you could hold it. Yes, that earnings has the potential for it to pull over the resistance line. But, if it breaks a trend line, it's just worrisome. And therefore, you have to ask yourself, yes, you could hold it till December, but at what point are you going to call it quits if it continues to dip? Now, just something to be mindful of. Then HIMX. HIMX, right? This is on a declining pattern. You guys can see that we've been rejected at this 150 period moving average. We made a slight reversal candle here today, but the one thing you got to note that is we still, even though we had a reversal signal, this is not a definitive area of reversal. This is actually a break up candle, but this is not a very definitive area reversal given that earnings is coming out in 1 week. Again, I don't like to play earnings. You guys, if you guys like to take those risks, you certainly could, but not recommended in my opinion, and therefore I would just wait on this one. This one's actively declining, no sign of reversal, and therefore just wait. Yarvin, thank you. CRON. Okay, so CRON. I think we've gone over CRON a lot. CRON, you guys see this wedge pattern that we've made in the past? All of a sudden, we've broken down. Once it's broken down below a wedge pattern, we are not looking and revisiting at this. So the problem is, how do you know when to get in and when to get out at this point? And it's very hard to identify a breakdown from a wedge pattern that's going down, and you guys can see earnings once again is going to affect this one within 2 weeks. And so, whatever it does, go down, go higher, it doesn't really matter because we're not going to be, eyeing this one since it broke a trend line, a major trend line. Vicky, can you recommend some stocks with high growth potential for short term? Now, guys, great question. Remember that we have the stocks and tickers to watch for each month. Remember what those tickers were? Okay, so let's review what the tickers were. The first ticker was talk to you guys about that for the month of May, and that was PAYC, PAYC. We were talking about PAYC when it was around $101. Just refer to the first video that I talked about. This was the month, the ticker to watch for that month. Okay, look at where it is now. So, you know, if you guys just held it and closed your eyes after I talked about it, you guys would have made 30+% by now. Okay. Second ticker was AMD. This was the ticker to watch for the month of June. So we called out AMD when it was, I believe, $14 and change around here. Okay. You would have made 20%. Over 20% by now. All right. The past ticker in July was MU. Okay. We called out MU, or I called out MU, when it was around $53, possibly around here when it was consolidating. Okay. It's basically even right now. So I'm actively watching this one. I gave you guys a warning sign yesterday, but today's movement certainly found a little bit more buyers here, given that markets did trend higher. You know, this is one to keep an eye on. This one has potential to move higher, but we need to gather that momentum. Right now, it's there, but you guys can see that it's there, but we hit the moving average, but we're still under the trend lines. Therefore, you know, I'm watching this one like a hawk, but, you know, just be careful on this one if you're in it. But yeah, those are the tickers to be eyeing on, the ones that I kind of talk about in the past. So there you go. Oh, guys, about the course. So with the course, one of the benefits as a member, once you guys, you know, pay and sign up, if you guys do that, is you guys will also get ticker notifications, additional ticker notifications on ones that I feel have high growth potential, high potential to move higher. There's no limit. It could be 0 a month. It could be 5 a month. It just depends on when I see that specific trend. Remember, you know, we don't always have to get into a trade, especially if we're not comfortable. And therefore, you know, I do my research when I talk to you guys about stocks to watch. And therefore, you know, I will also do my research as well to help you guys with the stocks to watch in the course once you're enrolled. Nathan, Costco. Okay, so Costco, anything wrong with this chart? Absolutely nothing. Nothing's wrong with this chart. We're on the 1 year chart. You guys can see that 20 EMA, bounce, 20 EMA, bounce. And now we're trying to move to the all-time high. There's really nothing wrong with this chart. This looks good, and there's the potential for this one to pull even higher. That's pretty much it. Good job on Costco. If you're in it, great job. Just note that you guys can see that this was only a 1.84. So this looks like a big jump, but actually, oh, for instance, from the close to here, it did move, you know, have a big move up today, but this one doesn't move that quickly. But then again, it certainly could if it wanted to, right? You know, so just keep that out. For example, like Tesla, we talked about Tesla, and there was earnings, right? And, you know, I didn't want to play earnings, but you guys can see that, you know, all of a sudden broke over that resistance. So, okay. Could you also accommodate Tango, like financial index, dollar index? Yeah. So all these indices that you're mentioning, I kind of glance at them before I do the stock talk, just to kind of get an overall view of what the markets are doing. I think it's just going to make the video a little long. Maybe I'll do it for the members if you guys have any questions on those sectors, but good suggestion. I'll take that into account. So just, yeah. Tango ADP. Okay. ADP. Okay, so this one is looking better. I do like this. You guys can see that we've had a long stretch of bullish action, now followed by a bull flag pattern in the forming. Now you guys can see that another great thing is we have buyers near the bottom at the support area. So that's certainly a positive sign This move, let's see, yeah, another slower moving one, but I guess, you know, if you guys are playing it safe, this one is a good one to look at as well. You guys, a lot of these trends are reversing from previous days just because the bullish nature of the markets today, all these trends are all pointing higher. So these are looking good. ABBA, can you check out extremely bearish chart here? Insert extremely. Went all in with my wife's life savings. Okay, yeah, good luck. And well, if you went all in, what happened? You would have gotten money, right? Wink. K9, can you look into NEP? NEP, again, this is a chart in which there's really not that much problem after earnings. So here's earnings. You guys can see that we came down, moved higher, and now we're consolidating. Really, this is one that, you know, if you're keeping for maybe a couple of months, maybe a year or so, there's really nothing wrong with this chart. This chart actually looks pretty decent. Given that we consolidated quite a while, now we're breaking out. Good one, NEP. Good call out. I like the call outs today. So far, so good, you guys. So keep that up. Yeah, nothing wrong with this chart. Looking good. Rico. IQ, right? IQ. Yeah, should I just say IQ and then I'll be done with analysis? IQ. That's it. All right, so IQ, we talked about intraday. Look at intraday, guys. Went to 29.61, pretty much almost hit near my white line, which is the support, which isn't really a support. For IQ, here's the problem with IQ. There's too many people who are bullish with this stock. I know people are comparing this with Netflix continuously, even when it's at 29, when it's at 30. Too many people are saying, I'm going to add into this position. And for some reason, I know the evaluation of this stock, this one has, you know, like $2 billion of cash on hand. Yes, the fundamentals may look good, but right now, it's just too many people are bullish. When is it time to go up? It could go up within the next month, 2 months, 3 months, but I feel like we need that sentiment just to die down a little bit. And in order for that to die down, and this is just speculation once again, we have to cross that 29.50 mark. We have to go lower. Doesn't mean that, you know, you're going to have a put, you're going to short sell this position. I'm certainly not telling you to do that, but just too many people are excited. I don't ABBV. ABBV. Okay, so you guys like this one for what reason? Back to 100s. Where's 100? It's up here. So we're at 95.21. So the one thing you just kind of want to be a little cautious about is we are at the 50-period moving average, which acted as a resistance in the past, and we're right here right now. Note that this is still a declining pattern, right? You guys can see that, right? This is a declining pattern, and we're right at the resistance area. So you just got to be careful. You know, yes, we've held this support area here, but we need this at the very least to cross. There's so many guys. There's so many resistance areas. 98.59 is going to be a challenge. 182 is going to be a challenge. This area 104 to 105 is going to be a challenge, and of course this gap area at upwards to 111 is going to be a challenge. This one has a lot of resistance areas, and you guys can see that if I just stretch this horizontal, this is a wedge pattern. It's getting also wedged in. So be careful. All right, that's it for this video, guys. The markets pretty much have done the reversal that we were looking for, pretty much at the support. And this goes to show you guys that technical analysis really does work. And it's whether, you know, first of all, you got to do your technical analysis right. And second, you got to actually hit the button correctly. Like, you know, when you're actually executing that order, your execution of that order has to follow, you know, your support and resistance lines. Now, you might get influenced by intraday patterns, but one thing you guys got to know is, you know, try not to let that intraday pattern affect your trades. Because if you spent like 30 minutes, an hour, 5 hours doing these perfect support resistance lines and you don't execute it correctly, these support resistance lines really mean nothing in the end. So I need you guys to, you know, pay attention to what's going on in the market, but surely this is extremely bullish momentum in the market, and therefore look for higher prices to come in the future. In the meantime, I will see you guys on Sunday for a Sunday stock talk that will wrap up the week, and also look forward to next week as to what will be coming in the future. Now, guys, markets look extremely bullish, but also extremely interesting nowadays because we're near the top, and should we break out, we're looking for higher prices to come. Guys, the bullish nature of the market is here, is still here. Remember, we had these support lines here for a reason, and the support lines were here or here or here. It's because wherever we fell, at some point we know that we're still going to, there could be a lot of buyers, and there could be that reversal back to the upside. And therefore, this was the overall bullish nature of the market, the red line. As long as we hold that red line, we're still going to be bullish. So we were just waiting for the reversal, occurred today. So see you guys on Sunday.